The President of the United States made a deal with aliens. You don't want to miss this.
Okay, so did you guys see the Tucker Carlson interview where he said a government insider told him something about aliens that was so scary he couldn't even tell his wife and that humanity isn't ready for this? Okay, let's watch and then I'll let you know what I think he's talking about.
The UFO story. There are parts of that story that I do not understand at all that are really, really, really dark. It's so dark that I, haven't told my wife about it. I mean, I haven't verified any of this, but this is not just stuff that I read on the internet. I know you all are very, very grounded in that story, so I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But there's some stuff there that's just like, man, I'm not even sure what that means. There's a spiritual component there that I don't fully understand. So yes, that story bothers me. And I think, last thing I'll say, that one of the reasons that we've had all these disclosures and all of these, 10 whistleblowers at this point, and it hasn't really become front page news. Part of it's suppression. Parts of the government don't want you to know about it, but part of it is the public can't deal with it. It's too far out. The implications are too profound. And I understand that. Because I've heard things where I'm just like, oh man, I don't even really want to know that.
Okay, so after that clip went viral, a lot of people started speculating that this could have been about the Eisenhower Treaty. And I've already covered that topic extensively, but for those of you who don't know, allegedly in 1954, Eisenhower made an agreement with aliens that allowed them to abduct U.S. citizens in exchange for weapons and technology. It's worth noting that his great-granddaughter has come forward and said that he was pressured into this deal. Maybe I'm too desensitized to the topic. The government allowing people to get abducted by aliens, is that too scary to tell your wife? I feel like that's not really what this is here. However, this spiritual component that Tucker's talking about actually does relate to the treaty a little bit. So Gerald Light wrote a letter after this meeting between Eisenhower and aliens, which he attended. And he says he has never seen so many human beings in complete collapse. Because the reality of other plane aeroforms is now and forever removed from the realms of speculation. It is now fact. And he calls these beings not aliens, not extraterrestrials, but Etherians. And that reminds me of the famous Area 51 caller, where an alleged former employee of Area 51 called into Coast to Coast AM to tell them this.
Okay, what we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of...
Again, the treaty is being mentioned, but more importantly, they're specifying that these are not extraterrestrial beings, and that the government was initially tricked by this. But then I thought to myself, what actually could be so scary that you wouldn't tell your wife? And this reminded me of the Gateway Experience. The Gateway Experience was developed by Robert Monroe, developed meditation and out-of-body techniques that would train your brainwaves to break through time and space. Naturally, this got the attention of the CIA. We even got declassified CIA documents saying that our universe is a hologram. But the scary part that you wouldn't tell your wife? Robert Monroe claims that while traveling out of the body, he experienced fourth-dimensional lizard humanoids. He said not only have these interdimensional beings controlled humanity for many millennia, and they can only be seen if you can see beyond the visible spectrum of light. And here's the worst part. The food of these non-physical beings is our pain and suffering and negative emotions, and he called it loosh. Now that's something I wouldn't want to tell my wife about. However, I had the privilege and honor to interview the last living member who worked on the original Gateway Experience. His name is Mark Serto. He was best friends with Robert Monroe, and he was also the sound engineer on the HemiSync recordings.
Some of the juicy stuff.
Let's get into the juicy stuff.
And a big topic that comes up when Bob Monroe's brought up and the Gateway Experience is this concept of like loosh and that humans are part of the cosmic food chain.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys want to see that, plus this Gerald Light letter in full and my full Eisenhower breakdown, go on over and subscribe to my Substack. This is available for free subscribers. You can find the link in my bio. And let me know in the comments what you guys think Tucker Carlson might have been talking about.